Look, this may be a really stupid question. What are we doing in a junkyard?
This isn't just any junkyard, you know.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's so special about it?
It used to be an old military testing ground. Now they just dump all their old junk here. I thought you'd like it. I mean, you want to be a reporter, don't you?
Yeah, or a psych. But what's that got to do with anything?
Look around. Everything here's got a story behind it.
Yeah. You know, you're right. I never really thought about it. Harlan?
This is the emergency podcast system. This is not a test. Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may already be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own. Do not panic. Specialists have been dispatched. They will help you identify these pretenders and defend you against this invasion of the remake. Please stand by for further instructions.
Welcome to the Invasion of the Remake podcast. I am your host, Jason Bishop, and with me today is not Sam Stepanenko because he is on vacation, and my substitute was also unavailable. But it is the birthday girl today. Trish Conklin is here, and when it's your birthday, you don't need a whole bunch of other people.
No.
Because it's awesome between two of us, and you got a great pick today. What is it?
I do. One of my favorite movies. I rented this like a lot at the Video Place is what it was called.
It was actually called the Video Place.
Yes, it was.
Because all the good names were taken, so it is a place that rents video. The Video Place.
The Video Place.
Okay, that is very on the nose, the Video Place.
I know, it was in Claresholm and it's gone now. It was a standard place that everybody went in town.
Yeah, I remember renting this as a kid, probably several times, really.
I loved
from
it.
our local video store, but I don't remember what ours was called. Sorry.
Well, I mean, when you're limited by one place, you can get videos from.
So it was the only video place in town, and they still called it the Video Place. I guess that's on the nose. So if you go, hey, where's the Video Place? Everybody knows where the Video Place is because the place is right there.
Yes.
There's no other video place.
Yes. Although I think you might have been able to get stuff at the Totem, but I wasn't sure. But anyway, so the movie.
Small towns.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, the place where you get videos and gas and snacks and ice cream and windshield wipers.
Because yeah, when you're tired of having your ice cream on a cone, you can get it on a windshield wiper.
Yep. Also, a place no longer open.
Because they were serving ice cream on windshield wipers.
But you know, if they just hung in there with like all the hipstery stuff on a stick, just fancy new weird crap, it probably would have taken off.
It's not all that weird compared to what's happened to the Stampede this year. So
yeah, exactly.
You go to those carnival fairs and it's all the dare foods, scorpions on pizza and
yep.
Yeah, this year seems to be crickets on everything. I was looking through the foods and it's like crickets on, I think there was a cricket pizza, and then there was a cricket burger, and then candy appled with crickets.
Wow.
So.
I think I'll try maybe a cricket something, but man.
That would explain why I haven't seen too many crickets this year.
Yeah. But I mean, if after the Stampede leaves and there's an infestation of crickets, we know how that happened.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're going to be transporting a lot of dead crickets all in a bag.
I don't know. I'm sure it's fine until you want to cross a border.
Yep. Which is why they'll leave them here. My pick for my birthday this year is My Science Project.
From 1985. And we've actually covered this director before. The writer-director, Jonathan R. B. Toole. And do you know which episode that was?
Oh my God. There's a lot. I can't remember 140 some odd things.
I'm only asking you to remember one.
I know, but I have to go back through which one it is.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. It is episode 48.
Oh my!
That helps not at all, does it?
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's almost 100 episodes ago. Not quite. We're getting there.
Wow, like that's Gone in 60 Seconds territory. Is that when it was still Jeff here?
I think Sam was with us at this point. Maybe Jeff. Maybe it was Jeff. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll let you off the hook. It is The Last Starfighter. It was episode 48.
Damn it.
He wrote and directed that as well. And you can certainly see like how robust the script actually is for its short 94 minutes. There it is.
It's
go,
tight.
go, 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 go. It is tight. And so is The Last Starfighter.
Oh yeah, like it starts off like, and what's great about it is it establishes everything. You know everything that's sort of happening here, and they do it in such a tight timeline you don't even notice, but you're completely immersed and aware and caught up to speed, and they don't waste any time. Like, because sometimes it seems rushed when it seems like they're throwing stuff at you all at once. Not at all. Not in either movie.
No, I mean there's a lot going on, but it doesn't feel super crowded or busy.
No, but maybe it's also because both movies it's sort of tiny town gathering in the sort of the middle of nowhere where all these extraordinary things can happen.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there was like a crossover idea happening or whatever.
There should have been.
Yeah, there's this device that is acquired. There's a little preamble at the beginning of the movie about fighter pilots taking down a bogey that turns out to be a UFO. There's actually a cutscene. They actually did make puppet aliens, but they never wound up using it, and the voice of the aliens, that I guess they did shoot it, but they just never put it in the final cut, and the voice of the aliens was Frank Welker. That was what he was credited for. I'm fairly sure he did the mutants as well.
That's what I thought.
It sure sounded like
I'm
him.
almost positive it's probably they probably reused that audio for
Oh, you know what?
mutants.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
That probably was just the alien noise that they...
But I can see why they wouldn't use it. The aliens are not important in the concept of this movie.
No. So 1957, and the president is briefed on what's happened. They recovered a spaceship with 2 bodies. You never see the bodies, and the president just goes, get rid of it. And jump to 1985, which is when this movie came out.
Oh, yes. The 80s. This is such an 80s movie. So great.
It is. I actually do not know what the budget of this movie was. It grossed just a little over $4 million in the U.S. and only ran in the theater for about 2 weeks. It was a bomb.
That sucks.
It's unfortunate, but given the trailer I'll run here in a few minutes, I can see why. Like, the trailer's pretty terrible.
Yeah, if you don't market it properly,
Yeah.
what are you going to get? Like, I think I when I first rented this movie, I like the outside of the box, I remember it having sort of, you could see sort of the device, and they're all looking up, and it's sort of this vortex at the front of it. It doesn't seem quite what the movie is. Like, it doesn't show you exactly. When you watch the movie, you're like, oh my God, this is much better.
I seem to remember on the original box art, too, like Harlan, the character played by John Stockwell, is holding an Uzi. There's a cigar in his mouth with dynamite strapped to him.
Oh, wow.
And all of that was deleted from the DVD Blu-ray box art. But I'm like, yes, smoking around dynamite, that's a good idea.
And
Yeah.
it's
and nobody's smoking in the movie, so I'm
No.
not sure what that's about.
No, and I mean, they get one gun, kind of a couple of guns at the end of the movie, and that's it. Mm-hmm. It's not. It looks like they're fighting something, battling something. It doesn't really show
The
that it's
box
a
art
teen movie.
kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters in a weird way.
Yeah,
It's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it is a little weird, and it's not like movies don't always tell the truth, you know.
Oh, yeah, I read it.
They'll mismarket themselves just to get more people, more eyeballs on things.
like how many times when we used to go to a video store, that was the whole thing. Like they put a lot of effort into that box art, because how many times would you rent something just based on you're like, this looks kind of cool, I'm going to rent it, and renting it and being like, ooh, I have made a terrible mistake.
And I think that's where most of the views for this movie probably came from, was on the back end on video release. Because, like I said, 2 weeks in the theater and didn't do too well. But it's a fairly, like, I would think this is a fairly expensive movie. It must have lost money. Like, there's some, like, that big dinosaur puppet at the end.
The dinosaur puppet at the
the
end
animatronic
is really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good for the day, for sure.
Like, if they just had more texture on it, you're looking Jurassic Park level.
Yeah, like there was some decent animatronics going on in there. I mean, the wispy time effects, that's all kind of animation. It's not even computer generated. It's just kind of traditional animation. And then there's this God, the swirling vortex, which is the same technique they used for Evil Dead, and it's just a swirling cup of coffee, you know?
Yep. That's all it is.
The creamer.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we're going to do the swirl, and then we'll just superimpose it on the top.
Yeah.
And then, like, just draw stuff that goes down from it, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, and their crazy device that they find in the airfield junkyard.
Yes.
It was just essentially a plasma ball that you would find at Spencer Gifts with a couple of boxes on the ends.
Yep. Hey, it looks good enough.
Yeah.
For what you want. Like,
Yeah,
you're
well,
not supposed to know how it works.
Yeah, no, it looks good for. I mean, it's a family film. Like nobody, well, not a whole lot of people die. And
No.
This is one of the first. This is actually a Disney film, but it's actually through their new brand at the time of Touchstone. It was one of their.
Okay, yeah.
Wasn't the first, but one of the first batch of films that Touchstone released.
Nice. And now I can
Whatever.
hear that beginning of dee-doo-dee-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Touchstone.
Yep. You just have to say the words and you know it, right?
You hear that little sting, and that's it.
Yep.
But there is like they do something kind of cool with one part of it, where on the end, like he hits something, and a little bit in the middle kind of swirls around, and it's got writing on it, and that sort of just activates it. No idea how they activate it, but
We actually watched this together, and then I watched it again last night just to kind of freshen it back up in my brain. But you kind of likened this to Jumanji and a little bit of Back to the Future, and
well, yeah, we both did because we were saying that
Yeah.
this is a lot of it because there's like whole Jumanji, somebody goes in and comes out.
yeah,
The stuff from the item brings stuff into our world. Whereas in Jumanji, it's magical, different creatures from the game. In this one, it's stuff from history.
yeah, or the future.
Or the future, yeah.
Or the future. I mean, it is a time vortex, and all sorts of craziness ensues. So, yeah, this movie, 1985, it stars John Stockwell as Michael Harlan. You might remember him from Top Gun, and Christine. Did you
Yes.
catch the Christine Easter egg within the movie?
Oh my God, whereabouts was it?
Harlan's working on his underneath
Is it in
his
the
car.
garage?
It's in the garage.
Yes. I'm trying to remember where it was. Oh God, it's fuzzy. I was having wine. It was my birthday, damn it.
Is that what was in that glass? It just looked like a water glass.
Oh no. I broke all my wine glasses, so now I have jars. That's what I do.
Okay. They're bigger anyway.
Yeah. It holds more wine.
Yes, holds more wine.
I did make it sort of a spritzer with some tonic water, so it wasn't like I wasn't drinking a whole bottle of wine in a big mug. Just to clarify.
I mean, why even pour it? Just bring the bottle.
Yeah. It's a big heavy bottle.
It looked like a nice dry white because I thought you were drinking water.
It was good.
Yeah, so John Stockwell was also starred in Christine, and the Easter egg within that garage scene was from Fisher Stevens, who mentions he saw a movie about a car that flamed out some guys, and flamed out, he says it a lot in this movie, but basically kills people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm an 80s kid, and I never even used that kind of slang. What the fuck is up with that?
I don't know. Flamed out. Yeah, I think I only used it because of this movie.
Yeah.
I'd never heard it before.
No, I don't think I've ever heard it in any movie. So, whatever. That was the Easter egg because John Stockwell was one of the stars of Christine.
Yeah.
Danielle von Zernick was in Living in Oblivion, a nice, awesome cult film. I highly recommend it. Fisher Stevens, of course, I just mentioned, from Hackers and...
Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Where you're
That
wondering.
doesn't age well, does it?
No. And I'm like, when he's from Short Circuit, and you're like, Short Circuit? I'm like, wait, who is he? I'm like, wait, he's the very badly portrayed East Indian man.
Oh. just get an East Indian man.
Yeah.
But 80s, yeah. Sorry, Fisher.
Well, I mean, Apu came out about the same time, so that's just what we're living with.
I guess. If I ever get the opportunity to talk to Mr. Stevens, I'm breaking that one up.
Uh-huh.
Raphael Sabarge, because
Yeah.
there's letters that are before the vowels that are weird. But I'm going to say Raphael Sabarge who plays Sherman the nerd. He is from Risky Business and currently can be seen on Once Upon a Time. If the show is still going, I don't know.
It might be. He's had a long career.
Yeah, he has. He's been around a long time. Richard Mauser, it's weird because he doesn't play too much in this movie. I remember him more from comedic things from television, but he's also in The Thing. Shut Up, We'll Cover It.
Yep.
And also in Risky Business, along with Raphael Sbarge, and License to Drive, another fun comedy as well.
And something very topical for the time, he was in the original miniseries of It.
Oh, so
He played the adult version of one of the kids.
Cool. Yeah, we'll revisit that at some point. Barry Corbin was Lou Harlan, the father of Michael in the movie, and he was in War Games, which we probably will cover at some point because we keep talking about doing War Games. And of course, No Country for Old Men, where he was an old man.
Yes.
But that was an awesome movie. One of your favorite, Anne Hedgeworth from Steel Magnolias, and probably best known for her role on Evening Shade alongside Burt Reynolds.
Absolutely. Always playing the sort of kind of ditzy but like femme fatale. She's always very, very sexualized, like even right to her final roles. But I get it. Like she was just a gorgeous woman. She knew what she was doing. It's great.
Yeah, even as when she's older, she still used it. It was kind of cool. Dennis Hopper is Bob Roberts, the hippie school teacher who hates cops.
Yeah.
And of course, he was in Blue Velvet, Speed, and another Easter egg in this movie from Easy Rider. Do you know where that was?
Oh, is that what he's dressed as Easy Rider when he comes back?
That's right. When he comes back through his little time warp trip through time, he is in his same outfit he wore in Easy Rider. One more cameo in here. I missed it twice.
Oh, okay. Then I
Did
probably
you
missed it.
catch Michael Berryman?
Was he one of the creatures?
He was one of the mutants, yes.
There we go. Yes.
And when I think about it, I'm like, the way one of them moved, I'm like, yeah, that's I can, like, I didn't recognize him as Michael Berryman, but I certainly can see it in his body movements.
But we also saw somebody that we notice in every movie because we see his head and we know who he is.
And Sam would know his name, and I don't remember, but that Asian guy that was in everything in the 80s.
Yeah, he
with
was
the Fu Manchu.
Fu Manchu, like long hair. He was the bad guy in Lethal Weapon.
A bad guy.
A bad guy in Lethal Weapon.
He was also in the first Die Hard.
Yes.
Yeah. He's that guy you saw in that thing that one time, that many times.
Yeah. Like if you look at his IMDb, it's
massive. Yeah, because he always played one of the thugs. Thug number 5, thug number 4.
But you remember him every time.
Yeah. Like Michael Berryman's mutant number 1.
Wasn't he in They Live as well? We saw another movie that we did where he was in.
Possibly. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I remember some of these. There's a lot to go back. I only have so much space in my head, and it's getting filled up with all these
we
movies.
watch these all the time, and when somebody comments on an older show, they're like, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "That was like months ago. I have no fucking idea."
Well, right now, years ago.
Yeah, in some cases, years ago. So that little space within that movie, once I'm finished recording, gets shoved out and replaced with the next movie.
Yeah, you got to clean out the hard drive.
The hard drive gets wiped. It's almost full already, so it's like literally just get it in there, put the next one out.
Yeah. It's not like this device in this movie where it can kind of encompass like a ton of power and not run out of room.
Yeah, that's right. I think now's a good time to run the trailer. I do want to warn our audience, this is an older trailer and sounds a wee bit hollow, but I think that just adds to kind of the enjoyment of the age of it. So enjoy.
In 1955, an extraordinary object landed on Earth.
Has the press gotten wind of this yet? We don't think so, sir.
If this got out, it could change the course of civilization. Briefly.
Well, they pulled the engine out.
Get rid of it. In 1985, seniors at Kit Carson High
Hey, school tax, jellyfish. Come on.
were working on their science projects when Mike Harmon discovered the engine.
I wonder what this thing runs on. Unleaded.
He fixed it.
Unless your project is Dino Supreme, you both get D's.
Hey, I'll take it.
And he called it My Science Project. But he didn't turn it in. turned it loose.
Hey, I seen lights like this at an Ozzy Osbourne concert.
This is bigger than the planet.
Is this like when you told us we could smoke banana peels?
Wait, there goes my D.
It's dangerous. You could wind up in another dimension.
Something tells me we ain't in Kansas no more, photo. Sure, what's he saying? He's going to kick the hot.
What are we gonna do?
About 1 to 5 of good behavior. Hit the blow up. Whoa, now we are talking hyperspace.
My Science Project.
Now that was a ride.
Yeah, okay, she's got a quizzical look on her face.
That scene, yeah, that's a mismarketing type of deal because like a wacky team comedy with a bit of a machine in it and it's time. Yeah, that's not this
No,
movie.
it was definitely mismarketed. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were doing there. There's definitely some lines that weren't in the movie.
Yeah.
I love the little bit where he wants to kick art, and then they just cut. I'm like, oh, come on. We know you're going to say ass.
Yeah.
Like, why would you put he's going to kick and then cut? Just don't use that in the trailer because
Right?
it just sounds awkward and weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Or what they've done in some cleverly done trailers. We're going to kick and then like have a donkey sound. Yo. They've done that.
Oh, they should have put like kick. It's an engine. Yeah, the trailer definitely didn't do this movie any favors.
No. And like you're saying, I think it had a big life on rentals because like once somebody rented it and they're like, oh, this is this movie, they love this movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. I mean, I saw it. Handful. I don't remember how many times, but I saw it quite a few times as a kid. So the basic gist of this movie is Mike Harlan, can't. He's a gearhead. His head's kind of stuck underneath his car all the time, and he hasn't put any time into getting his science project. Meanwhile, Ellie's got eyes on him, and he just had a breakup, which he doesn't seem to be too broken up about.
It's a high school one. I don't know. I think part of the reason of the breakup is because she's like, you spend so much time on your car.
Yeah, they kind of hammer that home quite a bit, and it does affect his relationship with Ellie fairly early on too, who goes out of her way to kind of entrap him into a date.
Sabotage her car so he fixes it.
Yeah, distributor caps don't just disconnect.
But
yeah.
they sort of know each other. Like you get the feeling like they have
grew
a
up
pre-existing friendship.
Yeah.
And Ellie's always liked him, and she's like, well, this is my chance, because it's like, we're seniors, this is my last go.
Yeah, they're heading towards prom here. The science project is part of their science finals, and if they don't turn it in, that's a fail.
Yeah, and if you don't get that credit, you don't graduate.
You don't graduate, no diploma, yep.
And I remember those. You had to get so many credits.
Yep. Yeah, Jesus, I remember a few high school tests that counted for, like, really? What about all the schoolwork I did well, and instead of these tests I did badly? Right?
Like, the ones that are like, oh, this is 50% of your mark. What the fuck is wrong with you? 50? 50? Because I know people who were terrible test takers. I was a great test taker. Loved it.
Yeah.
But that was very unfair.
Oh, God. I remember one semester where most of it was based on 2-3 tests, and I think I failed 2 of them.
Oh my God.
Oh, I mean, I was kind of a nerd, so I did really well. So I'd never had like failing grades before. It was so weird.
And that's horrible. And the worst part is you get these tests. If you have a test that's like worth 50% and part of it is an essay, I'm sorry, but that is really subjective.
Yeah.
You can't hang all that on there. It's got to be either like they're all answer, and it's an answer. Because that's the only way I feel it's actually fair.
Well, that's kind of like this science project deal. Like, wouldn't you be writing a test and showing practical knowledge instead of go invent something?
Right?
In high school?
Yep.
Like, what are they going to do?
See, and I don't know. This was before I got to high school. And, like, science projects, I think, for me, fell off at, like, grade 9. Like, you
I don't
do
remember.
researches,
Yeah, I remember
rigid
doing
papers.
lots of research and labs and things, but we're all doing the same labs and that sort of thing. I don't remember ever having to actually create, I don't know, stupid erupting volcanoes and bullshit like that. Like, that's only stuff I ever saw on television. I'm like, I never did paper mache volcanoes.
We didn't do those, but I remember doing science projects, but they were sort of like more like research projects. And I think we had a science fair maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I don't really recall doing it, but maybe I did. Who knows?
I know, but those were the younger grades. I just do not remember doing this in high school. Like, a research paper was a high school thing. Because they were trying to prepare you for university where you would do research papers and not science projects.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, on their first date, he takes her to this junkyard.
Airfield.
Yeah, it's an airfield that's been turned into a junkyard for aircraft. So there's lots of, like, helicopter shells and old airplane husks and whatnot. So takes her through there, and she's like, whatever happened to whining and dining?
I know. But what's funny is, like,
I don't know. That sounds like an awesome date.
well, partway through, she kind
B&E, a
of...
little B&E. What's wrong with that?
Partway through, she gets into it.
lot.
She's like, actually, this is kind of cool. Like, because she's sort of a geek.
Yeah,
like,
she's the bookworm. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, okay, so as a nerdy person, there actually is some cool stuff here.
Yeah. Well, he says that cool line, and I did open the show with that, where he's like, just look, you want to be a reporter. And she's like, we see her establish that as she's asking everybody the high school yearbook questions and whatnot. And he's like, just look at the history here. Like, everything has a story to tell. The line really took to me. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like these are kind of really cool high school students, because the other part of it too is Harlan is not the upper echelon of popularity, and she's not the lower level of popularity.
No, you
like,
either
but
feel
most
like
kids
Harlan's
were.
a little bit of, like, he is kind of one of the cool kids, but, you know, he doesn't care too much outside of cars and building things, like, you know.
Which also makes sense that he would go to the junkyard, because he's like, I can pretty much find anything, and I can maybe rebuild it and make it work.
Yeah.
Because he knows his strengths, and he's like, if I do this, that can count as a science project. That's what he's just thinking, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, rebuilding a carburetor or something just isn't enough, or an engine. It's not enough for Bob, the instructor, because he knows he could do that in his sleep.
Yeah.
So, you know, he wants him to challenge himself as well. So, yeah, that was the idea of why they went there in the first place, and then he falls through into this what looks like a dilapidated bomb shelter.
A terrible bomb shelter, as we established. If somebody can fall through the roof of a bomb shelter, it's a bad bomb shelter.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hold up well to the bomb that's coming.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be in there for a long time. So, I mean, if it's this dilapidated without a nuclear event.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can maybe extrapolate that this thing that he finds, this plasma ball, whatever, was probably the engine to the spacecraft at one point.
Because they're talking about how it needs so much power, but it was like kind of cold fusion. It was generating and taking in a bunch of power as well as extracting it.
Yeah, with no heat. Bob used some sort of meter, and he says, like, well, either the meter's broken or this thing's older than the Earth.
Yep. Which would actually make sense, because the thing is, if you're trying to carbon date something that maybe goes through space and time at like an accelerated rate, it will throw off anything you try to throw at it to just like measure it the proper way.
If that's what it is designed to do, then yeah, I would think that would be exactly that. Yeah.
But it just takes energy, because when they first get it, this is actually one of the major establishing things we talk about, how Harlan is known for being good with cars, is as they're driving back with this thing in the car, is it sucks all the power out of the car and then it breaks down.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be seen going into town on foot because he's known as the car guy, and he wouldn't be able to live that down. And, you know, I'm sure they never come out and say it, but him walking into town with the nerd girl, too.
Yeah.
You know, they never say anything like that. I'm kind of glad that wasn't the forefront of the conversation.
No.
But it wasn't the typical girl he would be seen with.
Yeah. But I mean, this, again, like they knew each other. So it was sort of like she's trying to bring him a little bit farther ahead than friends. And he's not really feeling it right then, because he just broke up with someone. He's like, he's not in that place yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so his idea was the date is, tag along while I steal this shit.
Yeah.
Watch for the guards.
Yeah, exactly. He needed to look out. That's their first date.
Yeah, first date was look out.
But this establishes they have a ride or die relationship. This is how they come out of the gate. So this is good.
And the next time we see them, they were stealing from trucks in Fast and Furious. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, yeah. They could be. This could be a prequel. We don't know.
We don't know.
But then he has to call his pal Vince to come push his car back with his car.
Yeah, Vince being Fisher Stevens. Having watched this twice before this podcast, I really like Fisher Stevens in something like Hackers. He was just such an there's actually a couple of characters. A lot of the characters in this are like over the top stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
Harlan's fairly grounded gearhead type. She's the bookworm.
So
Then
is
there's
Sherman.
Sherman is like,
Nerdy McNerderson.
oh my god, like movie nerd. Like
Yep.
these type of nerds you don't see exist in the wild.
No. No, if you do, it's a costume.
Yeah, like I didn't understand, like, because we do know Sherman had eyes on Ellie, but I didn't understand
Literally in a creepy way.
Oh yeah, he was stalking her outside her house. So when they come back from the date B&E,
Yep.
he's out there with some weird satellite dish on his head.
Yeah.
That we never established what the fuck that was.
I think it's a listening thing because you see those listening devices they use in movies. That's what I think it's supposed to be. But the two-pronged binocular thing, I cannot wrap my head around because it's like rotating and doing weird shit.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not useful.
No. And if this thing functions, then yeah, that fucker's winning the science fair.
Yeah. When the signs are, here's my Stockerton Pack 3000 that I made, Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, but he's also the guy that has like the impossible knowledge. He explains what time warps are. He's that informed character in a lot of ways. But it's kind of weird because he is the antagonist, at least for a while, because he makes a pact with the school bullies to torment Harlan. Just because he's kind of getting in the way of him and Ellie. He'd actually tried to ask Ellie out before she asked Harlan. As Harlan came up, it was an instant distraction, and he never got to finish the asking her out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a bit sad, but he's so annoying. You don't feel too bad for him.
Like Ellie dodged a bit of a bullet there.
Oh, yeah.
But also what this does that I don't see in any other movie is Ellie makes the first move. She asks him out. Mm-hmm. You do not see this. That's a baller move.
Yeah, which is pretty good for the shy nerd girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me think it's like she's not such a stereotype. There's some bits where they flip it, and like Sherman is the antagonist at the beginning, and the bullies, this is what we need to figure out. We don't know why the bullies don't like Harlan.
No.
We never established that.
No, I don't think they like anybody.
Yeah.
They're just juvenile. They're running around in their Stormtrooper and Darth Vader helmets, committing vandalism on his car. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. I think those guys gotta go.
Yeah.
Like in our remake, they serve no purpose.
No, I want to kind of ground it a little bit and get rid of just let's shove the stereotypes out the door.
Yeah.
Because they're really hard to watch. Those stereotypes do not age well. This is a very entertaining movie, but the stereotypes on the characters do not age well.
Although there's bits with Vince, it's Fisher Stevens. He's a tiny, scrawny guy, but he's a bit of a bully in some aspects. It's kind of funny to watch this really tiny guy do something in movies is always a giant dude.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he kind of reminds me of a chihuahua, like this loud bark. Mm-hmm. But like, what can you really do, you skinny little dweeb? He talks a big game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes down to it, he does go into the school when there's all this stuff happening. So
oh yeah, it's not like he's a coward or anything.
They all kind of have arcs, really.
Yeah,
like
they all kind of
go
grow. Like, I don't know. I don't think Fisher Stevens has any kind of arc. It's pretty much a straight line of douchebag.
Yeah, you're right.
But Sherman does. He's kind of forced into his bravery, but once he does, he takes to it like a fish to water.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Because what's funny is they talk like he's the nerd, and they're like, "Do you know how to run one of these things?" He's kind of like, "Well, he just reads a lot of books. Of course, he's read about this."
Yeah, he knows a lot of theory, so when a gun's put in his hand too, he's like, "Oh, it's a simple premise," and pop the clip, stick it back in, pull the lock, and all right.
Get the first round in the chamber, and we're good to go.
Yeah, although he does seem like he's getting a little unhinged through this whole thing, but it was his fault that the thing got reactivated in the first place, too.
Yeah, he sucks in
Yeah.
a certain way. Because he's about to run away, but they make him go back in because they're like, "No, you did this. You're going back in there."
Yeah, the more deeper he gets in, the more fractured his brain is. Like, why he shoots at the scoreboard in the gymnasium, I don't know. Like, maybe
No
he's just
idea.
juiced up after killing a dinosaur.
Yes.
Oh, wait, he fainted.
He fainted.
It was Harlan that killed the dinosaur, but he did get a few rounds off first,
Yeah.
and he did pretty good attacking the Viet Cong.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me just throw this at you. The final act in this movie, we've got Cleopatra, a caveman,
Yep.
a Roman gladiator.
Yep.
Let's see, Viet Cong,
Viet Cong.
post-apocalyptic mutants, a T-Rex ish. We think it's a T-Rex because it's not super accurate.
Could be an Albertosaurus because they're like T-Rexes.
Well,
kind of.
his arms were a little more useful because he did kind of
He-
lean down and grab Vince
Yep.
instead of chow down on him right away. So, so he had more useful arms.
Yeah, that's really true. Because you don't think of T-Rex, we're like, oh, he got grabbed by a T-Rex. Really? Really? Does anything get grabbed by a T-Rex?
Yeah, like you're the one person in the entire history that's gotten grabbed by a T-Rex before the jaws got to you.
But yeah, but as part of like the script is like he can't die. And we did want a T-Rex, so we have to figure out that maybe he just gets grabbed by it.
Yeah, nothing happens really to the heroes. Minor injuries that they tend to shake off fairly easily. Whereas a dinosaur dies, some Viet Cong either laid unconscious or killed, and that Roman gladiator didn't fare too well. And that I think they knocked the caveman unconscious as well.
Yeah, I think the caveman was just unconscious. I don't think it died.
Yeah.
They didn't have guns at that time.
But that gladiator didn't fare too well.
No, stabby.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going down easy anyway, so.
No, when he shouts in Latin, "For we who are about to die," or something along those
Yeah.
lines. It was something close to that.
Well, that was his job, so I can
It
let that
was.
one go.
But, the guy loves his work.
He really does.
He does. He loves his work. Apparently, he wasn't none of these things were too fazed by the school lockers, but
No, it's sort of the weirdest thing. Like the Viet Cong weren't phased by the lockers. That's what the weirdest thing, because they won't, because some of it comes in, like the dinosaur is in the gymnasium. Again, a very tall gymnasium. I don't think I've been in a gymnasium that tall that could have a T-Rex in it. So again, what's going on?
yes.
And but there's outside of the gymnasium, you see jungle and like a mountain, and then with Viet Cong there's a bit of jungle in the room, but there's still the doors that they have to go through.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of mishmash time warp where objects and people are kind of phasing in and out, so everything's a bit fluid in that regard and not completely solid and in place as of yet. But that's part of the threat, is this engine can rupture the space-time continuum if left unchecked.
Yes, it's super powerful because like there's a portion of the movie where we think it's over because they take it to Mr. Roberts to show him this machine because they're like, we do not know what it is. We don't know what it
And
does.
boy, is he impressed.
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it like it's cocaine.
He loves it like all the drugs.
Yeah.
All the drugs. Because they were talking about like they put it up to they hook it up to a battery and the battery melts.
Yeah.
But then, so Mr. Roberts is like, let's see when we do this. And they're like, no. And he shoves it into the electrical socket, which attaches it to the grid, which now it's like sucking power from.
Yeah, he's really enjoying the feeling of time forces wisping around him, otherwise known as cartoon vapor.
He's touching time, feeling time. He is time. Which makes me wonder is if, maybe Sherman's like freaking out because the time is kind of messing with his head, but maybe Mr. Roberts has been on so many drugs. This is just like Friday for him. Like after so much acid, he's able to his mind is elastic enough. He's like, I can roll with this.
I felt like it was Dennis Hopper. Like it was every other line out of his mouth was "fuck the police."
Yes.
I mean,
Pigs, fuck the police.
yeah, he never swore, but we do.
Yep.
So I'm ad-libbing here.
It's the Disney version of fuck the police. We don't remember what he said.
Yeah,
But it's exactly that.
Oinkers. Oh God! Like we get it. You don't like cops. What happened to you?
Well,
And how are you a teacher?
he was Easy Rider.
Yes. It makes you think that's in continuity.
Yep.
So
And of Easy Rider, he survives because they don't show with the ending of Easy Rider. So maybe he
That's
did
right.
live and he became a teacher.
and he became a teacher. It was the worst ending ever for that character. But yeah, he gets through his obsession with the device. He gets sucked into a vortex, which of course, great, we just flamed out our teacher.
Yeah. They're like, what'll we tell them? Like, what'll happen? Like, we don't know where he is.
Yes, and Vince picks up his like peace necklace.
Yep. That's
Which-
still flashing.
Yeah, so they're leaving, and that's when we see the cars being vandalized by the guys, but Vince reminds them we need to shut down the warp, which wouldn't you have just unplugged it while you were in there? Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they were afraid to grab it lest they be pulled in.
Yeah, there were little spot flames picking up from the wild energies running around, and when they come back, like an hour or two later, they're still just small little fires. I'm like, oh, I guess the plasma fires don't spread very easily.
No. I don't know. It was an 80s school. Maybe it's just stuffed to the room with asbestos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's probably what it is.
Look at the asbestos doing its job.
If you survive this whole time warp thing, you will die because of the damage to the asbestos that you've inhaled.
Everybody in that movie died of cancer.
Or what do you call it? It's something lung
Emphysema.
that you get from asbestos?
I don't know.
No, black lung is minors, but there's another thing.
Yeah. Oh, poor kids.
I know. They go through
Survive the dinosaur only to be taken by asbestos.
Yeah. It's a very Twilight Zone ending.
Yeah, right?
This is a Twilight Zone-y movie in some ways.
But that didn't actually happen. They leave. They go to... Because, our car's faster than time, so let's just stop at the...
Or electricity.
And electricity. So let's just stop at the department store first, and so we can blow out the power lines outside of town so this doesn't spread everywhere.
Yeah, again, they can get dynamite real easily, as you were talking about. How did they get dynamite so
we
easily?
talked about this when we first watched it. Like, how many corner stores carry dynamite? Because I've been to my local 7-Eleven. No dynamite.
No.
No dynamite. Just saying no dynamite. I don't know. Maybe it's different at 7-Eleven in the U.S., but
Maybe.
I've been to 7-Eleven in the U.S. Zero dynamite.
Well, you can buy pretty high-end weapons at Walmart, maybe. I don't know. But I do remember telling you a story of like my in the 80s, I remember my dad getting some dynamite from somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we update this, this could pose a problem. Because I don't think high explosives are that easily available.
Well, you could make his dad a geological engineer, and then they have licenses to get explosives.
So you just have to go to the garage.
Yeah, but you can get you can obtain licenses to have explosives if you have a certain type of job.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe that's the only way I could think that would.
Let's. He's got a really nice car. Let's add a little Fast and the Furious and plausibility.
Yes.
If those guys can whip around fucking giant vaults of money,
Yep.
then a little fishtail with the car should be able to knock down a power line.
Maybe, but then they die.
Well, hopefully it'll land on top of them.
But I think like crushing the car into a power pole might kill everyone in the car. We gotta think this out. Maybe
Okay,
they just
we'll
go
come
to
back.
where there's transformers and they just mess with that. They don't go to the power. They don't take out.
Well,
the
I
power
think maybe you
cords.
could just shoot the Transformers.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, like they take out the little.
It worked taking down a 50-foot woman.
Yeah. Like if you go to like NMAX where they have like the little shed with like little transformers or little transformer farm around it, maybe they
Yeah.
just go straight there
Yeah.
and cut it off there.
Right. I don't know. In the movie, committing this crime attracts the attention of the police, although the police go to the school rather than the break-in at the department store.
Yeah. Well, I think they go to the school because there was already stuff happening at the school. Like they were
Explosions.
noticing, yeah,
Weird lights,
explosions
and
and weird
then-
lights.
Yeah. Because they do. It does sound like they've already investigated. By the time they've left, they've already investigated the break-in at the department store because they know about it. They've got Bob's necklace that is accidentally left behind, and they're asking the kids about Bob because that's his only connection. Like, apparently only these kids know Bob. Nobody in town. Like, why would the kids be the first people the cops talk to?
Yeah. Oh, and as we were talking about this before, I'm like,
oh, wait, it's because the bullies narked on him.
Yeah, the bullies did. The bullies narked on him. But we were also talking about how these kids are like super in trouble right out the gate. But we're thinking like, okay, Bob hates the cops. He's a hippie. He might have a little bit of anarchy about him. Who's most likely to try and explode a power line?
Well, that was just it. I'll be like, oh, am I getting an A? Yeah, you're getting an A.
Yeah.
Great. It was him. Hello, detective. What the fuck his name was? Nolte?
Yeah.
Detective Nolte? It was Bob. Well, you found his necklace at the crime scene.
Why wouldn't it be Bob,
solved.
right?
Why would it be Bob? It's Bob. Got to be Bob. What about Bob?
Exactly. What about Bob? Like he left, sir. Bob left. He said
Bob.
he's going to take some stuff out. He's got to take care of business. That's all we know, sir.
Yep. We didn't know he was going to nuke the town.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Yeah. Finger Bob. Wait. Wait, what? Don't. Moving on.
Okay.
So, because the cops are there, they can't go retrieve the device, which is why they went back, is to get the device out of there. And there's some argument of, taking it to 60 minutes, and that was why they brought it to Bob, is so he could get his science project.
Yeah.
Yeah, priorities.
Although
investigating it, they wound up being late anyway because they missed the science final because they were messing around with the device and it shunted them 2 hours into the future.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And this is before they take it because Bob says, "Meet me here at 9:00. I'll be grading papers." And I'm like, poor Bob there at 9:00 grading papers. But yeah, they're in the mechanics shop and they're looking at this thing, trying to figure it out, doing stuff with it, and then they leave, they go out the door, and it's 3:00 already. They've missed their exam and all that, which I love. Like they should have done maybe a bit more with that jumping ahead in time that they didn't realize that was happening.
I would have liked to seen a little more like those little time hiccups.
Like when it first takes the power out of the car.
Yeah.
You put your first time jump right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's already evening. I think you'd have the car sputtering out. It's sunrise.
And Ellie gets home, and she's in so much trouble. Like, where have you been, young lady? She's like, it's midnight. I'm home on time. They're like, it is not. It is 5 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we never see anybody's parents other than Harlan's.
Harlan's dad, who's got his new wife now. They went to Vegas and got married.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if that was a time jumper or something, because she is in a scene, and the first scene they're together, she's the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's just avoiding that whole situation.
Yeah. She's not a bad lady. Like, she's trying with Harlan.
And the next scene, they've come back from Vegas and have gotten hitched and hadn't told Harlan yet.
Yeah. Maybe that was supposed to be a time jump. We could put that in as a time jump,
and
I think.
It's weird because they never. There's some weird loose threads in this movie, and that's one of them where Dad comes out. You come here and socialize with your new stepmother. And then next thing we know, we've cut to another scene where they're back on the mission. That never happens. So it makes me wonder what it was doing there in the first place.
Yes, yeah. I think we could make that another time jump in a weird way. Because you could have this take this initial thing is it's like
and like the Viet Cong guy that they rescue, the American soldier they rescue from the Viet Cong, who says I owe you one, walks off, never to see him again. It's like a weird sitcom moment.
Ooh, I have an idea.
Oh dear.
It might be a terrible idea, but I think it's a funny idea.
Yeah, well, this is the place to do terrible and funny.
You make Detective Nolte really old. He was in Vietnam. He comes home. He's like, I don't like you, son, but I don't know why. You remind me of somebody I once knew.
Oh, and that would come back around. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
He was the one they saved in Vietnam.
Cool. I dig that.
And the thing is, he's telling them that before we even get to that point in the story.
Yeah. I mean, if we modernize it, we just change the war, but whatever. That's fine. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yay.
That works. That's closure for me.
Yes, it's not, that loose thread is not loose anymore.
Yeah, and it makes a little more point to that gruff dude that the cop is. Actually, all the cops that get lines are kind of gruff. That lady who's taking pictures of Fisher Stevens there.
I liked her. I'm sorry, I really did. I thought she was hilarious.
Why do you wear your sunglasses at night?
And he's like, "Was it because it's something about flaming?" He does a flame out and another flame out line, doesn't he?
No, it's because when you're as cool as me, the sun is shining you 24/7.
Oh, yes. Which he gets up on his tiptoes to say, because you see him do that.
Yeah.
Because the female cop is his height.
Yep. Then she takes off his sunglasses and push him against the wall.
Yep.
But
well, she needs a proper photo. Dude is not cooperating.
Yeah, so the one phone call that he gets, I don't even know if they've been arrested because it didn't sound like it. Okay, when Harlan gets back to his house, he crawls in his window through the bedroom, and sitting in his bedroom is Detective Nolte.
Yes, like in the dark.
In the dark.
The child's, like he's not an adult yet. This is a teenager's bedroom in the dark.
Oh, you know, graduating high school. He's probably 18.
Don't care. He's still, his parents are in the next room. That's a whole level of creepy. Yeah. Like, did he speak to his parents before? He's like, okay, so I'm here for your son, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in his room in the dark if you don't mind. No.
Weird. Yeah, we kind of mind.
We super mind that.
Do you have a warrant for that?
Is there
a creepy warrant?
Yeah, you can't get stalker warrants. You get stuff against stalkers. I'm sorry, do you know how the law works?
Yeah, because it doesn't read him his rights, but if he wants to question you and you're not arresting him, he doesn't have to go with you.
No.
Period.
Nope.
So the law in this town is a bit wibbly bobbly too.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Small town justice.
His new stepmom, actually, I really kind of appreciate this. She's the one who steps right in. He's like, I got this, honey. It's like, you can't get him if you don't have a writ or a warrant or anything like that. And I'm like going, okay, you just married his dad and you're trying to protect his son. All right. I'm down with this. I like it.
Well, if you want to get on your son's good side, keeping him from being arrested is probably a good start.
Exactly. And as the parents, you're like going, like, because I'd like to make him like 17, where this is really dodgy. No, the parents have to come.
Yeah, so pulls Harlan into downtown to the cop shop, and I guess they stopped to pick up Fisher Stevens along the way.
Yep.
When he pulls out Bob's little medallion, I don't know what that has to do with arresting the kids, but whatever.
I don't either.
Meanwhile, his one phone call was to Ellie to go get the device because obviously the cops aren't there anymore.
Yes.
And
and he's worried about the device. It shouldn't be hooked up.
And Sherman's like, oh, is this what they were talking about? Because they went to Sherman to get some advice without actually telling him what the device was, their science project.
We're looking for a book, and but it was what's kind of funny. I like the sort of thing where Sherman has some knowledge about it in time and space, but it's not. It's weird. It's not 100% scientific because he like goes into science. Well, there's some science fiction. Like he goes, this is a science fiction story essentially. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, there is some kind of hard science about quantum physics, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I don't think that knowledge should come from him. Like, I don't think he was the guy to give him that knowledge, considering he's the one sending the bullies off to get in their way and whatnot. It probably should have come from Bob.
I think it could have come from Bob. I think I'd like to see it where they are asking at the library, but Sherman is directing them to like, well, that's like just sci-fi. There's not like, I'd like Sherman to be like, there's no, like, I mean, theoretically we've talked about, but there's no scientific basis for it. So this is sci-fi you're talking about.
Yeah. It's, it would have been like, I don't know. I would have taken him to... Well, when I watched the movie, the first thing I thought about was the Manhattan Project experiment, where...
Another 80s movie, The Manhattan Project.
Yeah, but it's actually based on a real experiment that theoretically caused this giant military ship to disappear into time.
Yeah, and arrived 10 minutes before it left or something like that.
Yeah, so... I don't know how much truth is in there, but it's sure made for an interesting movie. And that I would have liked to have seen some ties to that because that's actual, at least theoretical history.
Yeah, I wonder if it could be like this device. They decided to bury it because they're like, well, no, we've dealt with this before. It's not good. We can't do this.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Maybe,
I don't know.
and maybe that was their experiment. They were experimenting with alien technology.
I like that.
So you just have a little bit more with it. But I don't know if I would have taken it to an aircraft graveyard then. I would have probably taken it to a Navy graveyard. But
Maybe. Or maybe, yeah, but I mean, like...
But yeah,
it's weird. They could be thinking like, well,
they do talk about this junkyard being a former military base where weird experiments went on. So it was, and I guess it was Area 50 before 52.
Yeah.
Right? 49.
51, 49, 56.
You know, there are other numbers and shit going on in all sorts of places.
But you could have it too where there's like, rather than the prequel of like them just sort of finding the device, like it might be part of the experiment they did. And they're like, no, bury it. Bury the device. Bury the paperwork. Bury everything. And you could have Sherman be like, he could be the sci-fi geek, but also the conspiracy theory geek a little bit, where he's like going, well, there was like weird experiments that they did at the base years ago, but he's like, they've talked about it. Like he goes on weird forums.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could have like maybe the former military commander who's now an old man, retired, still lives in that town.
Ooh.
There's your informed guy.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Because once they remember, like, this is where we got it, like, who can we talk to? Like, I know who. There's this guy. Because maybe Harlan, like, works on his car or something like that. That's how he knows him.
Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah, they plug it in. There's fluctuations in town. And during the commotion, they escape. Harlan hops in his car because Fisher Stevens is just a douchebag, steals one of the cop cars.
But, if you have the opportunity to drive a cop car, you'd want to drive a cop car.
Yeah, he turned on the sirens. He's just... Fisher Stevens.
He is that personification of, like, just the obnoxious best friend.
Yep. That scene where he's getting down with the girl in the car when
Yes.
when Harlan radios him when he's been broken down, and the car's shaking like he's really getting on, and then
and they go, but this is a Disney movie, so that can't be what's happening.
Yeah.
And she's making like O sounds. We were discussing. I'm like going, she shouldn't be doing that because she's not anywhere near where that could be doing.
Nothing's lining up. They're just kind of making out. What is she?
If you make out with somebody, you get the
here?
ooh noises. You'd be like, you're weird, and you'd leave. I don't care who you are. This girl's weird. Gotta go.
Multiple orgasms, but just by sticking your tongue down her throat.
That's real bad. Can't have that.
No. There's a lot of staining on the upholstery.
Well, not just that. You're like going, this is just the oddest thing ever. We can't do this.
This is so weird.
I'm never going to get anywhere with it. If this is all she needs, I'm not getting anywhere. We got to go.
That's right. And yeah, they get rid of her pretty quick.
Yeah, but I do like the one little moment where she's got like some bit of old car stuff, like I think it's a strut, and she's doing like she's squishing it together, trying to make her boobs bigger. That was a nice moment.
Yeah. And then jump to the heroic scene where they pull Sherman in and attack the Viet Cong and gladiators and dinosaurs and
and then there's a future with futuristic guns, and I think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, why didn't they trade up?
Right?
But I don't think they ever killed the mutants so much as knocked them down a bit and inconvenienced them because they kept showing up.
Yeah, true. What they should have done is like Sherman be like, future gun, I'm getting a future gun. Because who wouldn't want one?
Yeah. Although he did want to mac down with Cleopatra as well.
Oh, no, that was Vince.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Vince. Yeah. Vince wanted to just like, this is an opportunity I'm not letting slide. But then they get attacked by the caveman.
Yeah. Yeah, that really kind of cooled him down quite a bit.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it, yeah.
A poor Neanderthal. Like everybody else in that school is doing fine, but he's got to be so confused. That poor guy.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, he was probably in a hunting party or something.
And he's the only one who's by himself besides the gladiator.
Yeah. Well, the gladiator did just finish killing somebody.
Yeah, and it looked like you could see from the other section, like it's weird because I like how they kind of staged it where there's entrances and it looks like the other world is on the other side of that doorway.
Yeah.
Like when I'm talking doorway, I'm not talking like a metaphysical doorway. I'm talking like going down a hallway. It's a doorway.
There was somebody on the cast list that was credited as the sorceress. Now, I'm wondering if maybe that was supposed to be Cleopatra or if it was a cut scene.
It's a cut scene, I'm absolutely certain.
It must be, because I don't remember any sorceress, and that would have been a little ridiculous.
And I think...
Like it wasn't already.
True. But I think it's probably when they went away from sorceress and they're like, this goes into fantasy and we're doing a sci-fi movie, so we have to cut the sorceress. Yeah.
Yeah, when you do something like this, you want to keep the time stuff to some factual things, I think.
Yeah.
Or plausible. I mean, it would have been fun if, like, you're instead of these post-apocalyptic mutants, like, there's Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like, these fun little nods.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what the time settings are, and it would have been cool to do some callbacks there.
Some Star Trek people.
A couple of familiar sound effects.
Yeah.
Before the phaser fire.
Pew.
Yeah.
Like that.
Ding.
Ding. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start rethinking this thing a little bit. It's fun, but we need to age it better. We need to round out these characters. And yeah, let's start with some casting, and then we can figure out the plot along the way here.
Nice. So, should I go first, or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I did have some struggles with this because, as we say, when we're doing teenagers, we have a very hard time.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even in our 20s anymore. Sorry. If you're a 20-year-old, listen to us. Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate it. I miss my 20s.
I know. Oh, and if you're in your 20s and we're making mistakes about like stuff like Snapchat and things like that, we don't know. If you can give us an example, like, why do you do this? We don't know. So help us. Help us understand.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously didn't understand the slang in 85.
Ooh, I need more slang.
But I would have been 12. So
it's very hard.
Yeah.
But then it's weird. I listen to slang now and I don't.
I'm mostly okay. I'm mostly on board.
Figure out how to some of it, how it applies. Emojis. Okay, I'm lost. Don't get them. Don't get when to use them. Don't get.
Oh, there's too many. I'll say what I want to say rather than put the emoji in because it takes too long to find the fucking emoji.
Right? I understand.
I totally understand emojis. I just going through the emoji menu. Fuck the emoji menu.
Well, some of the faces I don't know. Like they're the different smileys. Don't know. Like why do I want a toothy smile versus the regular smile? I don't know.
Oh well, one's the grit in your teeth. Like
See, I thought that was super happy. See, don't get it.
Okay. I use them for different emphasis. So.
Okay.
But that's the fake over smile. Like I fucked up.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, I call the big toothy one the fake smile.
I only use the ones,
but it doesn't have like the curve up. It's just more. It's more rounded.
Yeah. Okay.
But doesn't look angry. It's just like the awkward. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 trying to smile. That doesn't quite look right.
Okay. Learning to smile. Okay, got that one.
See, I'm still down with the emojis. I'm too lazy.
Somebody had to tell me eggplant. Didn't know that one.
That would be what I call the Richard.
Yes.
I made a joke to somebody. I'm like, the only people who should be putting up dick pics should be named Richard.
True.
Right?
This is a picture of Dick.
This is Dick. This is Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
This is Dick Clark.
Yeah, the only unsolicited dick pic I want is a picture of a guy named Richard.
That's right.
Just his face. Otherwise,
right.
That's a dick pic.
Yeah. No, the Richards are just going, damn. Almost had a loophole.
Almost had a loophole. No. Those are dick pics. I just want a dick pic.
Okay. So, do you have any dicks in your casting?
No, I don't actually. But
that's unfortunate because the segue doesn't work now.
I know now it doesn't. I wish I knew I had a dick for Vince.
Now everything's just gotten awkward emoji.
Oh no. Okay, well, I'll start off with my director actually, and I did this because I was just reading up on him, and he's gone to directing. So I thought John Stockwell, who was Harlan.
There you go.
starting
That's
at
a
the
nice,
gate.
nice throwback. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I also made Bob Roberts Fisher Stevens because I feel he may have aged into crazy.
Okay. Yep. I can totally see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my callback. So Michael Harlan. Alex Wolff, he was in the Jumanji movie as the young Spencer. He's the real version of The Rock.
Okay.
Ellie Sawyer, Rowan Blanchard from Girl Meets World.
Okay.
And I'm going to skip over Vince because I had trouble with him, and I'll explain why. Sherman, I went a different way. I went with I kind of put another nerd girl in there because I'm like, I thought back of when I was a nerd and I'm like, oh, I had nerd girlfriends. So I went with Maisie Williams of Game of Thrones because I think she'd be just a fun Sherman.
There's a nerd in Game of Thrones?
No, she's not a nerd in Game of Thrones, but she's in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
she's the
okay.
youngest Stark child in Game of Thrones. She's just the right age, and I think she could do
Right.
a nerdy nerd friend.
Yeah, okay, listeners. Yeah, I still have only ever seen one episode of Game of Thrones. Get off my fucking back.
Okay. Well, she would be in the first one, so there you go.
Okay, I don't remember.
And for Lou Harlan, who is Harlan's dad, Sam Rockwell.
Nice.
And then Dolores, the new stepmom, I went with Parker Posey.
Oh, I like that. I did not cast the parents because they just were completely pointless and inconsequential in this whole movie. So I just kind of wrote them out. But, you know, that's something we can flesh out because
Exactly.
I do kind of regret just not casting them. But
Well, you never know. Like, I mean, we might go that way, we might not go that way. I figure if I put them in,
I like
we
your
have
choices.
that opening.
I do like your choices.
And then for Detective Isidore Nolte, I went with Brendan Fraser. Because I thought I'd like to see him in that role, and I could see the similarities between the two.
Isidore Nolte. I don't like. Why did they bother giving him its full name when you never hear it?
Because they have a copy of the script.
Okay.
And then Vince Latello, I struggled so hard because I was trying to go like either I didn't want to make it like too much of a stereotype, I didn't want to make it enough, but there was somebody who I kind of liked, but he might be too young to play the part because I think he's only still 14 now, but he might be older, but he's gotten really tall. It's Hudson Yang from Fresh Off the Boat. He plays the oldest kid. He's gotten really tall, and I'm like, I could see him technically as a teenager. And his character on Fresh Off the Boat, where he's like the 90s trying to play like the cool kid, I'm like, this would work in this movie.
Right.
I could see him doing that. It would be fun.
Nice. Now, for my casting, I was reworking it in my mind a little bit. So initially, well, I'll start with my director because everything 80s and weird and fun and a little creepy
Nice.
should come from Matt and Ross Duffer, the Duffer brothers from Stranger Things.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
So there we go. And because
almost had Stranger Things cast members in mind.
They
weren't old enough for me.
For my lead is Joe Keery, who would be my Michael. He plays Steve on Stranger Things.
Okay.
He's like the older kid.
How old is he now? Is he?
He'd probably he'd probably be about the right age. I mean, most of the actors in this were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Just 20 or around 22, which is a little old.
That's
for high
about as
school.
high as I went.
That's as high as I wanted to go, right? So I think he's like a late 90s kid or mid 90s kid. So he's about right.
Okay.
Age-wise. So I was trying to aim my casting.
Yeah,
there.
I looked at late 90s, born in the late 90s, which really depressed me, but still.
Yeah. For my Ellie, I went with Lily Reinhart from Riverdale. She plays Betty on Riverdale.
Ooh.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of on the nose. For my Vince Latello, I went with Christian Navarro. He is currently on 13 Reasons Why on
I think
Netflix.
I know who that is. I haven't seen 13 Reasons Why. I've seen the trailer
Yeah,
for
given
it.
the controversy on 13 Reasons Why,
It might be just
let's
sort
give,
of
let's give him a chance. Let's get him the hell out of there.
Give him something fun. Like 13 Reasons Why. I've seen the trailer, but it seems like an intense watch. I don't really
want to watch a TV series about suicide, and there seems to be some conversation if it's glorifying teen suicide or not, and teens really are taking to the show. So I don't want to really get into that discussion, and I haven't seen it, so I've got no real opinion on it, but I hope that's not what it's doing. And for Sherman, I wanted to take this in a different direction because I wanted to get rid of the classic nerd character. I wanted
That's
to
why I did what I did.
tone everybody down a
wanted
little
it to
bit.
be different.
I went with Kylan Rambo. He is in Teen Wolf and Ender's Game. I wanted him to be a bit of a rival I mean, he's still looking for the affections, but he's the popular jock kid in my brain. And that would explain why he'd have a small crew of people around him that he could boss around and say, get in the way of that dude. And there's an old friendship there with Ellie, but he's not willing to pull the trigger because he's got his own image to protect, but he's the smart guy. He's good at everything. He's good at football. He's actually probably a decent mechanic. He's good at science. He's just well-rounded. He is the all-star of that school because he's good at everything. So still has that some nerd qualities, but he's still the cool kid too. So he's kind of the opposite of what Sherman is, because there wasn't much need for Sherman to be the way he was.
Yeah, like I think it was because they made Sherman what he was, because there's part of it he has to be a bit exposition-y, but he also needs to be. I want
Sherman.
To
move that exposition over to Bob.
I still have.
By the way, my Bob is J.K. Simmons.
Nice.
And I did cast Detective Nolte just because I wanted a scene with him taking off his sunglasses. David Caruso.
Oh my
Welcome
God.
aboard.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss it.
No, I kept some of my stuff with the exposition of Sherman, but I just had it that they were. She's nerdy in a certain way, but she's also. She likes the sci-fi.
Yeah, no, I wanted to keep Ellie fairly similar to the way she already was.
Sorry, my Sherman's female.
Oh, your Sherman's
my Sherman's female.
Okay.
Likes the sci-fi, likes the concept of some of the sci-fi things, but like admits probably doesn't work, but you just want to, you like it. So some of the exposition is still within Sherman, just not in the way it would normally be. Like she admits it's a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah, okay, I kind of dig that too.
Oh, a conspiracy theorist. That was the other thing, because I was talking about that earlier.
Okay. A little bit of different take on it. And that's just it. That character needs a different take, and I think both of ours are certainly
either
valid.
we go either way with it.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of your female Sherman trying to ask Ellie out to the prom.
Yeah,
because that's very modern.
Absolutely.
Nothing gets more modern than that.
Like she's very different, and like this is she wants to. She's the other version of wanting to take friendship a little bit to like the next level.
Mm-hmm. And, that awkward high school stage of, like, coming out as well. There's a whole weird subplot of confidence, and we can see that character gain her confidence.
Absolutely.
Whereas my character's overconfident, but when maybe shies away from conflict. He has other people doing his fighting for him. When he has to be the hero, he still has to be forced into it because he's never had to be brave before.
No. And I'd like to see some, like, if he's got to fail a couple of times during that.
Yeah, I mean, being fake brave is one thing, having other people do your dirty work for you.
Yeah. And then Harlan being like, I thought you were this big tough guy. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But he does want to save Ellie. Like, there's still that bit. Like, he's a coward, but damn it, you've got to...
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want Ellie to be unconscious for most of the last part of the movie.
No.
I want her to be awake and sort of having sort of her own kind of adventure and trying to...
Yeah. I didn't like that either, where, she's been sleeping this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't... I mean, have her tied to her post waiting for King Kong or something. Like, anything that just... she doesn't even have to be in peril. Like, she get into peril at the point where they show up, but she should be on her own little adventure. Absolutely.
She's in Salem.
Oh,
during the witch trials.
And she's being strung up for being a witch.
Because she's too smart.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
She's dressed strangely. She talks of strange, unnatural things.
She is this light that flashes. It's a flashlight, and this square box thing.
Yes,
that has graven images of people on it. It's an iPhone.
It's an iPhone. Yep.
Oh yeah, dig that.
Oh, and we could
technology run amok. I mean, the cell phone, and this is one of those things you can modernize it and have that silly little hook of like, okay, the device is disrupting all electronics, so no, you can't really call for help. So
we could have a not call for help, but we could have weird stuff where like this phone, it's a message from Ellie. She sent it 20 years ago, or like 200 years ago. It could be like a weird thing where they'll get blips where they can find stuff. Like, we have to save her.
Yes, I like the idea of like selfie with a caveman or something.
Yeah. We can have lots of fun.
Yeah. Click. Oh, I'm going to be burned as a witch.
Yeah.
Emoji.
Emoji.
Where's that emoji? Which emoji?
Thumbs down. That's what it is.
Which thumbs down?
Ellie's about to be burned at the stake. Unlike.
Is there any way we can be unarrested, Mr. CSI Miami?
Exactly.
Glasses on.
Oh, weren't we talking about something about the sunglasses? We wanted them to come back. Like the female cop takes them off, and there was a point where we thought the
that
sunglasses
even
might
plays
help.
even better for David Caruso. He keeps the sunglasses.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody steals, because remember they go into the main portion where it's flashing and they're like they're shielding their eyes, and we're like, Fisher Stevens should have had his sunglasses at this
Yes.
point.
Yes.
We wanted a callback.
I guess he didn't get him back from the cops.
No. We could have him steal David Caruso's. I got these.
These are way cooler than mine.
You can make him a little klepto, just a little bit of a klepto when people piss him off.
Yeah. Take it off the desk.
Yeah, because there's so many bits you could like tie in and do that.
Yeah, I'd like to see like the Doctor Who timey-wimey stuff. Like if you have a detective or whatever and you're familiar to me, and then you don't see that until later on, and he winds up being the soldier.
Yeah.
That gets rescued. Yeah.
So we make that Afghanistan?
I guess it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Because
about
that's what
right.
we'd have to do. Afghanistan's about right.
Yeah.
Cool. Now the dinosaur.
And Bob being sent back to the 60s, he'd have to be fairly old at that point if that was the case, but he doesn't have to be either. He could go all over the place. Being the archetype hippie doesn't work so well anymore.
Well, you can have the hippie, like you have like granola vegan people. Okay, so you have granola vegan people like who exist now, and they've deified the 60s, and that's where he wants to go back. They never experienced the 60s. They want to go back and try it out.
Okay.
Like he believes.
Yeah, instead of like reliving his youth, it's the case of I want to experience what they experienced in the 60s, the peace movement, and Woodstock.
Yeah, we do that.
Could still do that. I mean, it's unimportant what time period he actually goes to in the end.
I want the explanation of kind of why it spits people out, though. That is my curiosity.
Yeah, the big rescue at the end of the movie, and he's trying to dismantle the device, and he gets sucked into time, only to reappear just a few minutes later. So that was a lucky time jump. He didn't go too far.
Yeah,
but it's a bit of a fake out. I almost would have made it like a few weeks.
Yeah,
at least, or even a few years. It would have bummer ending if he showed up like 20 years later. He's still a teenager, and Ellie's now a mom and is married Sherman.
Ooh, could do that. But you're right. Maybe it should be a few weeks.
That's a little bummer.
It should be a couple weeks. Oh, like it's a couple weeks. Like this is right before. This is like June when the science fair projects have to go in. There's a month. So he gets sucked in. It's a couple weeks later, and he like comes sprinting out of that room. You guys! To him, it was 10 seconds, and to them, it has been 2 weeks.
I should make it a couple months then. At least they could rebuild the school.
Yeah, true.
And school's back in. He comes out of a time warp when... Crap, I didn't graduate, did I?
No, he did, didn't he? Like, we'll have Bob come back.
Yeah. Graduate him posthumously.
Yeah. Bob gave him an A. He's got all the credits. His parents, oh God, okay, this could get dark. His parents accept his diploma on his behalf.
Ew.
Thank you, everyone, for helping us during this difficult time with our son. Okay, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to make it not dark.
Yeah, it should still be a light family movie.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Part of me thinks it should be Sherman that makes the final rescue because he doesn't get Ellie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where he lands because he'd be like, this is awesome.
True.
Or she.
She. You can
and then
have
you have a kind of a happy ending where he kind of he or she lands in his or her nerd paradise.
Or you could really play with people. Just put in an Easter egg a la The Shining, where Sherman has been sucked in, but Sherman is sucked in a different, like in an earlier time frame, like class of a few years prior, like Sherman is watching Sherman do Sherman things.
Wait a minute. What if Sherman changed his name?
And Sherman didn't change anything.
What if Sherman changed his name to Bob?
Ooh.
And it was Bob this whole time. They're the same people, but he couldn't interact with himself and be Bob and be Sherman.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. That really fucks up my casting, though.
It does. It does.
My Sherman's back.
I don't know. Maybe Sherman pops...
Or another character, principal of the school.
Yeah, or maybe, like, I wouldn't mind having Sherman pop ahead in the future where there's, like, a post-credits thing, and then Sherman is, like, published a paper on time travel and, like, powerful stuff, and people think that Sherman's a crazy person.
Have you... There was a dude who got a lie detector test recently because he said he was a time traveler.
And he said he was from the future and told all this crazy shit.
And told all this crazy shit, although he couldn't predict who the next president would be. And passed all his lie detector tests. But, I mean, if you believe your bullshit...
If you believe it's not a lie, you're not lying.
Yeah, if you're crazy and you think you're a time traveler, you're going to pass the test.
Like, I think if people want to figure out like why this doesn't work, we'll give lie detector tests to people who are suffering from hallucinations, schizophrenics. I guarantee you, everything they say they think will be true.
You don't have to be from the future to say, yeah, global warming's going to get worse. Well, yeah, we know that because we're not doing enough about it.
We could do the Futurama twist, where Sherman is Sherman's parent.
Ew. Let's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea of Sherman doing the final thing, but I'd like it to be that they find out about it sort of later. They're like, is that Sherman? Mm-hmm. Like they might see in a book or an article.
I almost feel like the car needs to come back into play.
The car does.
Act.
The car definitely does. How do we put the car in there?
Yeah. Well, if you're breaking away into other lands and stuff, and it's starting to affect outside the school, that'd be really cool with the whole dinosaur stuff.
True.
Instead of it happening in the gymnasium.
Yeah, like, and then it would be kind of a Jumanji-esque effect. All these giant creatures are coming alive and coming out. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. You could have Sherman write a paper on what was wrong with the dinosaur stuff that they came up with. Because Sherman's like, no, that's not. They were vegetarians.
Wow. I mean, we've got in theory, we've got an unlimited budget here, so there doesn't have to be just one dinosaur. What if they use the car, have it chased by a dinosaur to lure it to attack another one?
True.
So it's a distraction, like the one that's too close to the device. They need to get it out of there. And there's no way without getting eaten.
It's true. But, like, is the device still in the school? Because getting the car in there...
Yeah, but it doesn't... If the time distortion's getting bigger and bigger, it should be distorting everything around the school as well. It should start in the school, and that's where we can see Ellie's adventures early on before they get there. And by the time they get there, it's affecting things outside and around the school. It's still a fairly tight region, but they can already see the weird effects happening.
Yeah, like they could drive through. They've got the nice car, but as they're driving through, it's like maybe they might see like a wagon or something like that. It's that part of the school has gone back in time.
Yeah,
like that part of the community, because it will have just an old community, so there's a lot of other history.
Yeah, I'd like to see it like this patchwork effects on what the school would be. So maybe something a little sci-fi by the clock tower, and something a little more old-timey, 1920s or even 1820s over on this corner. Very cowboy western.
Cool.
Yeah. Because we've got opportunity to use modern effects here in a very fun and interesting way.
And we can add somebody, too. Like, as Ellie is having her adventures, she helps somebody else escape. And that person ends up staying because she's just safer here. Maybe not. I don't know. Not in the U.S. But she's just safer in the time here.
Yes.
She won't be burned as a witch. She'll be called terrible things online, but she won't be burned as a witch.
What the hell? Yes, the witch trials have just gotten very modern.
Yeah. She's like going, I thought you said the stuff was better here. Okay, ish.
You're not going to get burned, but
Ish.
yeah, that's what flamed. You're getting flamed online. That's what I
There you
would
go.
equate being getting flamed online.
Getting flamed online.
Instead of kill. Yeah, they equate it to death.
There we go. You love it. But it should expand. You're right. It should come out of it should expand farther out of the school. Because more of the community should probably be in more danger of it.
Yeah. No, I think that's how you escalate this movie a bit, is it starts spilling out into town.
Yeah. And then you have the bits with Nolte, who's wondering, like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And then it sort of dawns on him where he knew this guy from.
Right. And then he starts to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make him play a little bit bigger instead of like the tough...
well, he's not in it very long at all.
No, to have such a
2
recognizable
scenes?
actor doing nothing. Yeah.
Virtually nothing over 2 scenes, and that's it.
Yeah. And he was one of the lead characters in The Thing just a few years prior, so...
Right?
Seems weird.
It seems there's a lot that was cut that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, like everybody in here, like at least the adults are recognizable from that time
Right?
period as fairly large actors, at least TV actors, but they get there's no point to their scenes.
No.
They just don't get to do anything. So, I don't know. They must have got paid a half decent amount of money to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wonder
there were day shoots for those people.
I wonder what script they signed on for. I seriously wonder. Because I swear there's got to be more to it. Like maybe what we're doing here is what it was going to be, but for budgetary reasons, you can't expand it and you can't ramp it up like we wanted to.
Yeah.
Because there probably could have been more dinosaur stuff.
Yeah. Well, we know the aliens got cut, but they at least made them, so...
Yeah. And there was a sorcerer scene, yeah. But yeah, okay, so
if anybody
the
can find the
dinosaurs-
Blu-ray, this was a very difficult movie to find, but let me know if there are scenes like that in the special features, if there are even any special features.
Or if you know anybody who's in this movie who can give us some information
Yes.
on what actually they signed on for at the very beginning.
That would be great.
But you're right, like the crazy old general guy who's still in town and living there, like once this starts to happen, he just goes insane and like he starts to go out to fight stuff.
Not again.
Oh no, not again.
He's having flashbacks to the Manhattan Project.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then like you can be like, you guys, you got to like take out the power. Like, oh, you can give like the side thing where like he tries to like cut off the entire community from any other electrical grid while they're trying to stop the thing.
Yeah.
Is that he's like, it's a 2-pronged attack, man. I'll take out the electricity and you take care of the device. We can do this. Nolte, you're with me.
What is happening here? Yeah, this movie should still be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go find the original because it is a hoots. The only place I could find it actually was free on YouTube, which I'm sure is not the most legit way to watch it, but I couldn't find...
Well, we tried to hook up the TV, but I was missing one cord.
Yeah, you actually have it on VHS.
Which
was
I
nice.
found at the
But
HorrorCon.
We couldn't hook it up to your TV because there's no AV ports on new TVs.
It's got to be a component cord. It can't do anything else.
Yeah, so that wasn't handy. But we found it on YouTube, but it's not on iTunes. It's not in the PlayStation Store, which I have. It's not on Amazon. There were no copies for reasonable prices to find on Amazon. The cheapest one I saw was $60, and I'm only going to sink so much into this show.
Yeah, you guys, you know what? Buy a VCR. Find a VHS copy. It is a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to find the VHS in some kind of dime store somewhere.
Yeah, it's a hard clamshell. I have it in a hard, like kind of, not a clamshell, like not the Disney clamshell, but the little hard plastic ones. That's what I got it in.
Nice.
Swear to God, it was a Blockbuster copy.
Yeah, probably was. Yeah, speaking of traveling through time.
But yeah, like you would like I'm keep thinking about the dinosaurs. I'm like, you could add some pterodactyls.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lot of fun with the Air Force and maybe some future guys fighting them.
Yeah, I really like your Salem edition there.
This would be good.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like that's all I could think of. Like I think Ellie could go through a couple more places in order to find the others. But I that was the first place I think she should stop just for that bit. Because I mean, all the interactions, like to keep this thing speedy, they're generally fairly quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dinosaur I think is the longest one.
Maybe we should have like Doc Brown show up briefly in a cameo go, "Great Scott, not again."
Yes.
I'm out of here.
We should.
Just cuz.
And Mars like, this is what you did when you made the flux capacitor. This is what you did. Oh yeah, that'd be super awesome.
Wow, if they could put him in 1,000 Ways to Die in the Old West,
Absolutely.
then we can fucking use them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so like there's dinosaurs. What would you do for the future ones?
I don't know. You know, I think I would pull. I didn't, because the whole sci-fi ray gun thing was, it's just feels old now. But you could still have more high-tech weaponry. Maybe pull something like from Blade Runner would be really visually really cool.
Ooh, that would be good.
Right? So you kind of have these replicants, but make them just look a little more cyberpunky, so a little more robotic sticking out. So
a little more android-like.
So you know that they're not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can still kind of feel bad when they die, but
Yeah.
we're a little bit more detached.
Yes. I can't wait to hear an android scream.
I assume it would sound like a human scream. It would be terrifying.
01010101.
Oh, we need to have some tiny regular robots then. We got to put those in. Those would be so fun.
Yeah. A barbarian.
Yes.
Barbarian would be cool.
Ancient Celts. What else could you do? Like significant portions of history.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think.
Conquistadors.
Absolutely.
Those hats are very recognizable. I know Vince would have a blast with the hat. Like, I need one of those.
Oh my God!
Especially with Klepto Vince.
you can add just a tiny addition to Nolte, and Nolte and the other old general like talking, because like Nolte, he does leave. He's in Vietnam and he kind of goes out and goes back in, but you could have him just like pass something really weird, and he's like, yeah, no, when I left, they had to discharge me because when I left Vietnam, they thought I was insane. I swear to God, I saw what I saw. And he did see what he saw.
He did. He saw himself.
Yeah. Or he saw Conquistador. He's like, there's no way it should have been here.
Yeah.
But it was there.
Nice. Oh, man, that'd be sad. He was Section 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Klinger was trying to get out of the Korean War for so long with that.
Exactly.
And he succeeded. God,
You just needed a time warp.
Exactly. You know, it's sort of this movie. We know exactly what we're doing. It's just we have so many options. It's sort of hard to.
And that's where you have the fun with it. You start that off a little
down.
earlier, or just expand this by another 15 minutes, so you can have a little bit more fun with the time shifts.
And I like the idea of what they did in the original one, where they come in and strangely enough, these ancient items are just in the room. There's no reason they should be there.
Yeah, I really like that. They didn't actually play that up enough.
No, because they Ellie comes into the room and Sherman's already there, and like there's an ancient vase there, ancient Egyptian vase.
Nobody's really paying much of mind.
Nope.
Like, you should be.
You should at least have Sherman be like, do you have any idea what this is?
Yeah, like when he surprises Ellie behind the time warp, which was just weird. What were you doing back there, dude?
Yeah.
But there's like old statues and things on fire, but he's standing there to go boo.
Yeah, that doesn't
What?
make any sense. Yeah, like it should be like, have you seen this? What's going on?
This is at least 2,000 years old, and what the hell is this?
What did you do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then Sherman still has to be the one who starts it. I feel that's very important. We keep that bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be out of stupidity. It has to be out of curiosity.
I think he's like, oh, this is their science project. I need to sabotage it.
Ooh.
And in doing so, he accidentally activates it and it goes out of control.
Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's the low stakes maliciousness.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, no, all I want to do is just get them a bad mark.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all he's out to do is mess with these guys. He's not out to kill anybody.
Oh, and that should be part of like the arc too, where Sherman's like, I just thought you guys would get a bad mark.
Yeah,
I didn't think this would happen.
You watch the My Science Project and you get the feeling he kept the gun and then went on a rampage later. So, I mean, it's dark. Like when you think about all the school shootings now, I'm like, yeah, Sherman turns into that guy.
Yeah.
Let's
No.
not go down that path.
No. We can't. Yeah, we can't have that.
No.
Yeah, we could just do like a really dark joke where they are shooting at the Viet Cong. They're like going, the school is no place for guns.
Yes, exactly.
Or one of the guys looks at Sherman's like going, okay, I thought you might shoot somebody in a school, but I didn't think it would be the Viet Cong.
That's a dark joke.
It is a dark joke.
That's a dark joke.
Yeah, maybe too far.
Yeah.
There was a line, I crossed it. But
well, no, I mean, it's funny right now-ish, but I can't see Disney doing that.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness, no.
No.
Oh, goodness, no. But yeah, you have to have, I think but there has to be like, I just totally want a futuristic weapon that they don't know how to work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They accidentally fire it.
Well, what are your favorite 80s movies that you think we should remake? Let us know at Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion the Remake on Facebook and Instagram, and Invasion the Remake at gmail.com. If you want to email us your corrections, your suggestions, your comments, we're open to all that stuff. And of course, we're open to all sorts of fan challenges. If we think it's a good one, we will do it on the show.
Exactly. And especially for this one, if you can think of like just a time, place thing that you'd like, that you think would be really cool to add as just a little moment in this movie, tell us that.
Yeah, that'd be great to see in the comments. Yeah. So throw us your little additions into the comment section and we'd love to see that. Another way you can help out the show is if you see us post, and especially new episodes, like it, share it. Make sure you share it on your wall, share it with all your friends, and tell people how to find the show. We are on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, Audio Boom, Blueberry, Spreaker, Libsyn, and
frickin' YouTube.
And I also forgot iHeartRadio. Come on. Got it. We're just brand new on iHeartRadio, so check us out there as well. We drop every Tuesday on the podcast apps and every Thursday on YouTube. Why do we drop every Thursday on YouTube? Is, well, it's an inferior place to find us, really. I mean, we want you to check us out and the full library out over on our podcast providers. The full library is not on YouTube. We try to keep as much as we can there, but YouTube can be problematic at times. So not everything's there, and we want to encourage you guys to go to the podcast apps. And if you're fine with listening us on YouTube, then don't worry. 2 days later, not a big deal. It's going to be there for a little bit until it becomes a bit of a problem if YouTube doesn't seem to like it. But I tend to win the wars, so hopefully we'll be able to keep the episodes there. But
we're an audio podcast anyway. I mean, you can go to YouTube, but you're
if you
not
want
to see much.
Yeah, if you want to listen to us with one static picture for an hour and a half to 2 hours, then God help you. That's good. Why aren't these? Oh, wait, they're starting to move. I've been staring at this screen too long.
My name is Bob Roberts. I've done a lot of acid.
And, of course, I mean, if you do like us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and ding that bell for the notifications when the new episodes drop, because you never know how long they're going to be there, so you will want to catch them right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, I'm excited for this. Like, it's sort of, there's so much you could do with this one. I think that was the whole point, is like I liked that there was a lot in this movie, and they didn't have the budget or maybe the time, or because they kind of held back on some stuff. You could really make it a huge
and
movie.
that trailer really held a a really entertaining movie back. Like, IMDb only rates a 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to hop on Rotten Tomatoes. The Metascore on IMDb was 38, so I don't know what that means. But this actually really is an enjoyable movie. It's a bit of an anachronism, but I think it should sit in the little cult shelf
Absolutely.
of fun cult movies, and it's a busy one, a lot like Last Starfighter. It's a pretty dense watch, and there's lots to look at. So.
Yeah, it rewards multiple watches.
Yeah, it is a cool, fast-paced roller coaster ride.
Yes.
Yep.
Yay.
All right, well, that was Trisha's pick, My Science Project, her birthday pick, and it was a good choice. I really was happy when she chose that one.
Thank you.
And for Sam, hopefully he's having a good vacation. I am Jason.
I am Trish.
And we are out of here.
Bye-bye.
So, you're cool, I'm cool, we're cool. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.